So hi hustling women, today again I'm back, and today we are talking about hustle as a teenager. I started hustling. Many people have asked me how I've reached to be the person that I am today. Have I started my hustling life when I was I think 15. Yeah, I started when I was still 15, doing, how should I say it? I started by selling sodas in the streets of Kampala. I worked in Loom Street as a soda vendor, cakes vendor. At the age of 15, that's when I dropped out of school because my father had died and my mom was alone. My mom had court cases with my stepmother over my father's property. So I saw that I have to drop out of school because I knew I wanted to work really very hard. I wanted to build a house of my own. I wanted to have an empire. I wanted to change the background that I came from. So I started my hustling when I was 15 years, selling sodas in Loom Street, that arcade called City Center Complex. I think a few of you might be knowing that arcade. And my salary by then was 2,000 Uganda shillings. So from 2,000 Uganda shillings, you have no lunch, but you get 2,000 shillings at the end of every single day. You don't get transport to take you home. And I used to live in Naguru. So what I would do is I'll foot from Naguru. I'm supposed to be at work at 8 because that is when they open. So I wake up at 6. I walk from Naguru to town. Then I by the time I'll reach my workplace, my bosses would have not yet come. So they get me when I'm on the doorway. I begin organizing the sodas. I begin putting the sodas in the fridge, the cakes on the shelf. So when the people in those arcades would come, maybe by 10, the sodas would have been cold enough for me to begin serving them. My dear, I got a lot of challenges through that, through my first job. I would give sodas. Normally what I would do is they'll come make orders for the sodas, and then you'll pick the money after they've finished drinking the soda and they've finished eating the cake, like maybe in the evening. So daytime you give out the sodas, they make orders, you give out the drink, they do whatever they want to do. Then in the evening you come and pick the money. My dear, I got a lot of challenges through that. Some people were nice to me. Some people wanted to use me because I was a very beautiful young girl when I was young. I was very beautiful, flawless. I was skinny and I had a good figure. There were some men that were immoral in their act. They would just come and order the sodas, then they would tell me to come and pick the money way late when it's even past working time. So when you go to pick the money, they begin wanting to touch you, and I didn't like that. So I'll end up leaving the sodas or the cakes that I've eaten to them. Like, I don't pick up the money because I really respected my body and I didn't want anyone to play around with my body. So I would leave them. That means if I leave the money for the sodas without picking it, I'm not going to get paid. They will cut it from my 2,000 Uganda shillings payment for every day. That means the soda was about 600 shillings. And if you took one soda and a cake of 400, that is about 1,000 Uganda shillings. That means I'm going to get only 1,000 shillings paid. Do you understand that? I'm going to get 1,000. So if about 2 men or 3 men did that, and I didn't want them to touch me. That means in a day I've worked for nothing. That means the following day I also have to work for half of it, because 3,000, that means close to 2 days salary, 2 days payment. So that is a challenge that I went through. I kept on like that. It reached a time whereby I told my boss I cannot be working for free. They should give me maybe another post. Then they told me they don't have another post, but what they'll do, they'll increase my salary to 2,500 shillings. I accepted. But in that small shop, she had like a computer. It's like it was a computer center. So on my free time, a girl used to work there. She was called Justin. Because I knew that I had a goal in my life, I wanted to push more. Since I couldn't go to school at that time because I didn't have money and my mom didn't have money and my siblings were also home, I decided to begin telling that lady in the secretariat shop to teach me how to use a computer. Then she told me, no, I cannot teach you straight away to use a computer because you'll spoil our boss's computer, but I'll teach you how to use a typewriter. You know those old typewriters that you could use first to press? And she said the best way to learn how to use a computer is to use a typewriter first, because the keyboard is almost the same. I told her, yeah, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn. One thing as a hustler, you have to be willing to learn. Everything that comes, you have to be willing to learn. So I started learning with a typewriter, selling sodas. That is how I upgraded slowly. So time reached when the secretary in that secretarial bureau got a better job, and then she decided to leave. That is when, by the time she decided to leave, that is when I had already bettered my skills with the typing. I didn't know much, but I would type. If someone brings a simple work, I would type. So I told my boss, I said, since Justin has left, can you give me a little bit of opportunity to, like, if people come with small documents to type, like if it's not so complicated to put a heading on it or what, I can type. Then she told me, why not? She used to call me BB, and BB means Black Beauty. So she said, BB, I have some work for you. I had favor with her. So she would say, BB, come and type this thing. I see how good you are. And oh my God, that was the beginning. I typed. I was bold enough. I was shaking, but inside shaking, but physically I showed her that yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. And I became confident and I started typing. When I started typing, she told me, wow, so can you juggle two things, selling sodas and typing in case someone brings something that is not complicated? I said, yeah, why not? Then she added my salary to 3,000 Uganda shillings daily. And for me, that was also a big step. Because, I mean, she wasn't rude. She wasn't bad to me. Even if the salary was small, I was still young and I had to take it. That is how I took on from 2,000 shillings, Uganda shillings salary to 3,000. Meanwhile, I never forgot to walk foot to and from work because I wanted to save. I started making a point that I would save. When I was still getting 1,000, when I was still getting 2,000, I would save 1,000 every day. That's if I don't make a loss, like the men who wanted to take free sodas because they wanted to sleep with me. If I don't get a loss, then I save 1,000 every day. So in 6 days, I'll have 6,000 shillings. I made sure 6,000. If I don't make any loss, I have 6,000 in my pocket. The 1,000 remaining, I would make sure I buy something for home, because I knew my mom was not working and she was still in a struggle. I would buy some food, like in the evening hours. There was those people that would sell in the streets, and the food stuff will be cheap. So I'll end up buying greens, tomato, onions for 500 or 300 shillings, or cabbage for 500, and I carry it back home. Then I give my mom 500 shillings. That was how hard life was. But I thank God that I learned a lot through that season. I thank God. So that forgive me. So the next video will be about how I moved from my job of 2,000 shillings to a job that pays 4,000 shillings. And this time it was with a Nigerian shop. The Nigerians used to sell CDs, the Nigerian movies. At this time, the Nigerian movies were so much on point, and people were so much on market, and people loved it so much. So stay with me, guys, as I take you through the hassles and bustles I've been going through until where I have reached now. Stay tuned, guys. Keep the hustle wherever you are. Keep hustling, and God will see you through. But don't forget to trust in Him. He's the author and the finisher of everything. He's the beginning and the end of your faith. Without Him, you cannot do much. Stay tuned. Love you so much.